Well, Warren Buffett penning a Thanksgiving message that he will continue to do annually, announcing that he's picking up the pace on dispersing his estate to his 3 children. The Oracle of Omaha converting 1,800 Class A shares to Class B shares and dividing them among his children's foundations. Still, Buffett says he will hold on to a significant amount of his shares until investors feel completely comfortable with his successor, Abel, which he says shouldn't take too long. Join me now to discuss this is Yahoo Finance head of news. That would be Myles Udland. Myles, great to see you. So start big picture, Myles. You saw the Oracle's letter. As a guy who knows this company so well, backwards and forwards, just give us your high-level thoughts, Myles. What'd you make of it? What were your big takeaways?
Well, the fact that Buffett's not going to be writing the annual letter anymore or speaking at the annual meeting, that had been reported. So we sort of knew that this was coming in a way. But this morning's or this afternoon's message really kind of reinforces this reminder, I guess I would say, from that first weekend in May, that this era is now over. I mean, the first Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting that I attended in person was the 50th. This year was the 60th. And I don't know about you, Josh, but I'm kind of feeling a little nostalgic here, being like, I guess that was it. I guess that was the 10-year run that I enjoyed with Warren Buffett. Of course, his shareholders have enjoyed a 60-year run. Those who have been with him that long have made many, many, many multiples of the money they invested if they kept it with him all those years. But I think it's just, and Buffett said it in his letter today, talking a little bit about Father Time remains undefeated. I believe the exact phrase was, Father Time has grown more interested in me at my current age. And he, of course, turned 95 back in August. And so I think, as you mentioned, there's the particulars around it. He has said he's going to give away, 99.9% of his wealth, and that's almost all in the form of Berkshire Hathaway shares. So those will be gifted to various foundations over time. And he needs to outline that schedule, right? That's liquidity into the market, even though they're gifted shares. People know that this is happening. And that is important for existing shareholders, folks who want to remain shareholders of Berkshire. But outside those practicalities of details, again, I kind of just think about it as someone, who I think, like a lot of young business journalists, one of the first things you do is, your editor's like, hey, you should figure out what you think of Warren Buffett's deal, right? You'll learn a lot by going back and reading everything he said. And he said today, he's kind of said it all.
You point out in your piece here, Myles, since Buffett announced in May that he would step down at the end of the year, Berkshire stock has dropped about 5%. The broad gauge, the S&P 500, it's up over 20% during the same period. What is going on there, Myles? What do you think helps explain that? In part, do you think it's because Buffett is handing over the reins?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely part of that. Now, another significant thing to note, and though Berkshire has dramatically pared its stake in Apple, Apple is one of its biggest equity holdings. And so there is some element of the value of Berkshire Hathaway that is like that portfolio holdco, idea, right? And so as we've talked about, Apple's had a better moment recently, but has been one of the laggards this year among the Mag 7. So that's a piece of it. But it's clearly a notion from investors that there was obviously some level of a Buffett premium in the stock. Now, again, Berkshire Hathaway has a massive industrial operation. It throws off a ton of cash. They have a huge securities portfolio. They have a ton of cash themselves. I think that's the real question. I believe you and I discussed this not too long ago. That's the real question for Abel into next year and beyond, is what's he going to do with $300 billion plus in cash on Berkshire's balance sheet. But yeah, there's no question. I mean, obviously, if Warren Buffett's running your company, there's going to be a premium assigned, to his leadership there. But we've now seen it in real time, that 25 percentage points roughly worth of underperformance from Berkshire since he announced he's stepping down. On the one hand, it's not surprising, kind of obvious that there would be some level of a Buffett premium, right? But to see it actually happen, I think, is, again, Berkshire entering a new phase as a company, as a stock, all these different things that now change because Warren Buffett is, not the person essentially backstopping the whole thing. Whatever your reason was, right, for owning the stock, he was some part of that, and that has now changed, and it's going to formally change come January 1st.
Greatest value investor of all time. Myles, thank you so much. Appreciate it.